What's up, sports bettors? It's Matt Modi here with OddsJam. What I'm going to be doing in this video is giving you profitable prize pick selections for Thursday Night Football tomorrow. So you see I have it up on the screen here, prize picks, and I'm going to be using OddsJam to find these good plays to put into my prize pick selections. Pretty easy, pretty cool. Also using OddsJam for prize picks to find valuable plays to put into your entries. If you're unfamiliar with the way PrizePicks works, it's essentially you're combining different player props into a multi-play selection, and if all of them hit, then you win. If one of them loses, then you don't. But it's cool because the OddsJam co-founder Alex discovered that if you do like a two-leg, prize pick entry, like I'll just do in random ones, like more receptions on both of these, it's $20 to win 60, which means I would profit $40, right? I would get $20. I would get my $20 of stake back, and I would profit $40, which means that the implied odd for an individual one of these is roughly minus 137. Because if you go to like a parlay calculator to just confirm, you type in minus 137 each way, minus 137, minus 137, and like let's say I put in 20, you see it's basically to win 60. So matching what is put up here for PrizePicks, which is really cool that he was able to do that math. And now we know whenever you are looking for a valuable prize pick selection to put into a play for these two-leg ones, you just know that it has to be the implied odds need to be minus 137 or more favorable. Anything that is above that amount would be a good play to put in PrizePicks. But we're not only looking at the odds themselves, right? You also want to look at where different sportsbooks price different odds. So what I have up on the screen here is just a player receiving yards stat. I also have a player rushing yards stat as well. And if you go to oddsjam.com, you go to sports, I can actually show you how to do this. You click into a game. So I went to sports, NFL, Cleveland Browns versus Pittsburgh Steelers, and you just type in player, all of the different player prop stats that you can put. Not necessarily specifically to PrizePicks, but just any type of player prop. It's going to show up here. So you can scroll through each of the different player props and find valuable entries. It also, you can do it from the positive expected value page. As of right now, there weren't any that showed up for a two-leg. Yeah, so there's no specifically for PrizePicks, but over the course of a day, you will see them pop up, especially when, there are more NFL games than just the one. But just because there are none on the EV page doesn't mean that there aren't any valuable ones to add to a PrizePicks selection. So if you go to a stat, like I said, up here I have player receiving yards. It'll show you where every book prices a play at. So you can look for discrepancies. Like we see here, Nick Chubb, PrizePicks, and Underdog price his receiving yards at 8.5. All of the other books that are giving you odds price it at 7.5. But the one that I liked a lot that I wanted to highlight is this Pat Freiermuth over 35.5, receiving yards. He has been one of the favorite targets of Mitchell Trubisky since he became the starting quarterback. And look at where other books price it. So again, 35.5 on PrizePicks at the implied odds of minus 137. Two books, Tipico, Bet Rivers, have it at 37.5. The other daily fantasy sports place, Underdog, has it at 38.5. And then even PointsBet has it a full 5 yards higher at 40.5. And when you're getting numbers a little bit on the lower end, like 35, a 1 yard difference is a big deal, especially in this case, a full 5 yards from what PointsBet has it at, and a full 3 yards from what most books have it at. So getting him to go over 35.5 is something that every other book thinks is the more likely scenario. So this seems like a profitable selection to add. So let me get rid of these. Let me go to receiving yards, and I want Pat Freiermuth over 35.5. I want more than. So that is going to be my first leg, is Pat Freiermuth over 35.5 receiving yards. The next one, we're looking at rushing yards for Mitchell Trubisky, getting him to go over 9.5. Similar logic here. Every other book, literally every other book, prices it above this number. 10.5 on PointsBet, 12.5 on BetMGM, FanDuel, DraftKings, Underdog, the other daily fantasy, has it at 12.5. Pinnacle, the OddsJam line, the sharpest sportsbook in the world in terms of pricing odds, has it at has it at 12.5. And then we have two books that have it at 13.5, Caesars and BetOnline. Every book is telling you that, again, similar to the Pat Freiermuth one, that the more likely scenario is that Mitchell Trubisky goes over this rushing total of 9.5 because they all have it priced above that number. Another reason why I like this one a lot is just look at the odds of all of these other books and what they're pricing it at. Over 10.5, they're pricing it at -135. This is PointsBet. The under at +105, heavily favoring the over 10.5, a full yard higher. We go to 12.5, 3 yards higher. BetMGM -120 for the over, -110 for the under, favoring the over. DraftKings, same thing, -125, -105. And most importantly, Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook in the world, -124, -107, favoring the over. It isn't until we get to 13.5 where books start to favor the under, but that's a full 4 yards higher. So getting him over 9.5 rushing yards is really valuable when you compare it to every other book. So I'm going to add this to my second selection, Mitchell Trubisky over 9.5 rushing yards. And that's it. These are going to be my 2 PrizePicks selections for Thursday Night Football tomorrow. Pat Freiermuth over 35.5 receiving yards, Mitchell Trubisky over 9.5 rushing yards, and that's it. So if you are tailing this PrizePicks entry, please let me know. Would love to hear it. But that's it. So appreciate you guys watching. Enjoy Thursday Night Football, and have a good one.